Hi guys, welcome to the UX course. Now we are at module 6, chapter 4, wherein we will be working on fixing UI based on feedback. So first you would have to know, uh, before you fix UI, how are you going to receive the feedback? Is it going to be part of a document? Is it going to be inserted in comments? Or how are you going to manage all the feedback through a documentation? And how are you going to make those UI changes, whether it is a system design change, whether it's a variable update, whether it's a prototype update, or it's a complete UI update. And there could be two kind of change. One change could be normal change and one could be a change request. So before we deep dive into 6.4, let's see what we learned in 6.3. So we learned about user testing, feedback gathering, setting up, analysis, test result. So we did user testing through ChatGPT. We create how we created a complete user testing of an application, and we created a document for it. So I hope you had a good learning in 6.3. Now let's go ahead and deep dive into 6.4, wherein we are going to do UI fixing with the help of comments and all those three scenarios. All right, I'll just move to Figma. All right. So I have written it down. You could receive feedback through a feedback document by comment, or you can take feedback uh, in calls. So if you receive feedback in a document either could be PDF or PPT, and this may seem like this. So client might come to you and give you feedback like this. They might have arrow pointed like this, and they would have a comment here that change this logo. So you can write all those comment in a document and you can put all of them together. You might receive multiple kind of documents, so but you'll have to bring all of them together and put it at one place, so you can always manage one document to receive feedback and update the status of a specific change. So let's go ahead and see. Second is you might receive feedback by comment. So if you share this file through, let's say, if you share this file to share this file with link, client come directly can go ahead and uh, comment on your designs. He might say, this font looks too big. So there could be generic comment. You can resolve this feedback, but the most important point is all these feedback should be recorded in a document. So whatever the comments are, if they are very they have a significant change, we should go ahead and record this in a document. Or either you can put it as a general comment or general changes, which you can put it under a task as general change, and you can record it as like that, and you can put in your hours, that how many hours you had to work on that specific change. Third way you can receive feedback is that while you are on a call with client or your manager, he could directly go ahead and give you feedback. And while taking the feedback, you must go ahead and instead of writing that feedback on paper or in a document, you should go ahead and write that feedback on the specific page, on that specific place itself. That will help you reach out to that right place, and then take that specific comment in a document, then make those changes swiftly as well. So let's say if I wrote this feedback here, and I went somewhere else, and then I came back here, and I went to my comment section. Let's hide the comment section, and I come to my comment section, and I can just tap on any of the changes, and this will take me to that a specific page or a specific place where the comment is placed. So it will be easier for me to make that changes. And you can always go ahead and after you have made those changes, you can comment back, reply back, or you can just say I have resolved this specific error. Okay. So how to create a specific, feedback document? First, let's go ahead and see, if there are, let's say client says, in the whole file, I don't like the font which we are using. So he might say it at one place, but that means you will have to change the whole branding. You might only use two or maximum three fonts within the entire design. So you can go ahead and you can go to your variables and you can go to your typography section, and you can do different kind of changes. If the client wants to change the font, you can change the font directly from here. Let's say I want to change the font, title font, to Times New Roman. I can directly change it here and it will reflect everywhere. It will change everywhere. So you can see it has changed. Let's see color wise. Okay. No, it has not changed here, but it will change in all the different titles. So I'll have to go to a title. Okay, so it says display serif Times New Roman, and it should, this font should change everywhere. So let's go ahead and see what this font is now. Title, you can go ahead and see the font family is not selected. There is some problem. Maybe this font is not taking it. So we can just say Times. Let's see if this works. Times is also the same font family. Now it should work. Okay, it's still not working. Let's change it to Arial. Arial is very common font. You will have to go ahead and see. So now you see the title has completely changed. So let's change it back to our normal font, which we are using, DM Serif Display. And see, you will see that the font itself will change automatically. DM Serif Display. Okay, so you have to make sure you write that name accurately. DM Serif Display. So you see the font is changing live. So that way you can make the changes automatically in your font. Or maybe client says, the font sizing for body is very small, so you can make those, adjust those changes here as well. So if I make these changes here, let's say instead of 16 I want the body font to be 18, so that changes will happen automatically directly from here. So you might not have to go to each page and make those changes. Let's say if I want to make the body 12, I can directly do it from here itself. So you will see that that changes has been, will affect everywhere in the file. So let's say it's a subtitle and I want this to be subtitle to be little smaller. So I can just go ahead and make these changes here as well. So instead of 28, I want it to be 24. So you see, I'm making the changes on variable and it's applying the changes everywhere in the file. So I'll keep it just 28. So let's say if you want, here you might not have to make a lot of changes, but because you might have only three categories: regular, bold, or italic, or very thin line font. So that may not be required to change. Most of the times, client asks you to change the font type, and font types you can have only, like, let's say 2 or 3 types. You can have different font for title, and you can have different font for everything else. So everything else can be body, indicator, and those have to be sans serif font, which are more readable. Like the best example is Arial, but you can use DM Sans and Open Sans. They are the example of sans serif font, which don't have the curve, which looks little more readable than serif font. Serif font has curve like this. This is a serif font. You see FNF bike services is serif font, but get your bike serviced is a sans serif font. So let's say if client says that he wants the entire design to see in a different color mode. So he is changing his brand perspective completely. He is switching from green and less green, light green to blue. What you can do is you can make those changes directly here in your variable. I'll go back to my variable. I'll choose the color and I'll go to brand. The base color does not change. The indicator color does not change, but most of the times your brand color change. Maybe in indicators, client would want to reduce the color base, reduce the contrast. You can go ahead and do that. That is not a problem at all. Base might not change at all. Base you might need to add a percentage of gray. That is okay. But branding color might change. So let's go ahead and I want this color to be little towards more darker blue. I can go ahead and do that. And this I can keep it same. I can keep it light. So let's go ahead and apply this in a mode. So let's go ahead and see how it looks here. So we'll go ahead and we will go to color and we'll go to bright mode. Instead of calling it bright mode, let's call it a blue mode. Blue mode. So you can have different branding perspective itself. Alright, so if you have to make a new page entirely using the system design, so you can just use your system design and create a new page. So let's say I want to create a new page here, and this page only would have two field boxes. Then I can directly do that. I don't need to change variable or I don't need to change the system design. I just need to import the system design component and make another page itself. Okay. All right. Now, how to make system design changes? So, system design make changes are very simple. Let's say this button you have created, a client does not want this specific. Client want this submit button text, all the text inside a button to be little larger. So you can go ahead and right now we are using indicator large. We can directly go ahead and use body. So subtitle, let's go ahead and use body for it. So this font will become larger and this will affect everywhere. So I have multi-selected this, or maybe client does not want, or your manager wants it to be more smaller than what you have. So you can go ahead and choose a different font style you have already built, and you can go ahead and see that changes are being affected in your files as well. So you can see all the uh, text sizes have changed automatically. So why this works? Because you don't have to go ahead and change at all the places, and client might say that he needs that change at that one specific place, but that does not mean change has to be implemented at only one specific place. Changes have to affect, let's say, to a global component. Change has to affect at all the different places. So let's go ahead and I'll change it back to large. That is what my button size I'm expecting it to be. All right. Now let's go ahead and see how do you create that specific document. So generally you can use Jira or you can use any other software to write those feedbacks and write those comments. But if you don't have use of if you don't know how to use Jira and your client or your company does not have access to any of those applications, you can go ahead and have a general document, UI feedback document, and you can start making your uh, table there. And I'll just go ahead and show you the Excel. So you can see the Excel I have. Now I'll create, let's say, change. Let's say change task, change type, which is very important. You can have timing, request. Instead of request time, you don't need request time because some changes might require you to, do multiple changes, but you need to track the record that when the change was requested. Change. So your boss maybe might ask you for a resolution date because he might need to track that, how much time it took to make those change. So let's say you might have to uh, estimate. You might have to also put an estimate of, how much time this change will take and status. And now you can go ahead and create a table which will help you keep a track completely. So I'll go ahead and use Excel to create that table. So let's say change the brand color, change type, which is I would say normal, which is not a change request. So you will have to create data here, which I would select from data validation, basically list, and I would say normal, comma, change request. Normal, comma, new. New normally adds cost to client, so I can say normal, and second one I can select new. So you can also do it by module. Let's say sprint 5. Request date could be whenever it was requested. Resolution date, maybe you resolved it then and there itself. It took you let's say 1 hour only to complete this. And status, you could put it as you can also create a list for it. I can say done, in progress, pending, cannot be, done, or not valid. Maybe this changes is not valid or not applicable for you, so you can select that as well. So you can go ahead and you can say this is done. Second one, you can say this change is not applied to you. Maybe it's a it is a change which is required for developers but not for you. So you can state that it's not your request. All right. And you can share this Excel with your client, and they always have an update of if you made this change. And you can also go ahead and put a link. You can also link your Figma file here. You can just copy your Figma, which I have already showed you. You can copy the link and you can put the link, and client can just go ahead and see at the specific place that if you have made the changes or not. You can also put a recording of your changes. You can screen record of any thing which is happening, which you have made change of, and it's working fine through prototype. So you can record that and you can show that as well. So let's say for now I'll go to authentication. Okay, so this is not working. This is I have to go to UI, and I'll go ahead and play this. I'll go to prototype and play authentication. So you can record this whole screen. You can use any tool for recording. You can, if you have Mac, you can use Mac recording. If you have Windows, you can use snippet recording to record this whole changes, and you can just play around it, and you can share the video as a link in the Excel, and client would be able to see if you have made those changes or not. So changes could be also prototype changes. Maybe client might say that, this animation does not look that good. You can play with, different type of animation. Maybe, the next page should come from bottom. So let's go ahead and see if this page is coming from bottom, how it will look. So let's say I said get started should come from bottom. So you see that prototyping changes also you can record and you can send it to client. Now let's go ahead and see what we are going to learn in next chapter, which is module 7. And module 7 is pretty big, and we are going to completely do the end-to-end project in module 7. So modules 7 is going to be very important chapter for you, wherein you learn to create all the screens from login, home. Login we already created, login, home, profile, setting, and you will also learn about mobile design guidelines. You will create a case study. You will also create a PPT which can help you present it to your client. You generally present it through Figma as well, and you can also present it through a slide deck. So the most important part while doing this is capstone project is that this will help you understand on a deeper level how to gain control of your system design component and also your variable, how to keep track of your variable, and how to create end to end pages. And you will learn more about prototyping as well within this complete project. This will be not, so this 3 hours seems wrong. Let me change that. This will be 6 hours, and there'll be 12 chapters. So I don't see that all the 12 chapters are mentioned here. So you will so out of those 12 chapter, 8 chapters are basically all those uh, creating screens and home screen, prototyping screen. Let's go ahead and see that as well. So I'll just put it all the screens we are going to do within this module itself. So you'd be able to recognize that what is going to be your next task. This is a lot, I think, but let's see if we can make it smaller, or we can put it in. I'll just okay. I think it's pretty visible for you. At first, I thought it is not that visible. So we are going to design, all the core screens, profile setting, home screen, booking services page. We will also create track service request, detail page, list of service provider, a profile setting, chat support, prototyping. We will also work on mobile design guidelines, and we will also uh, so these things are not required anymore. So let's go ahead and get rid of them. All right. Yeah. So now it's more visible, I guess. So we'll also create a screen for chat support. We'll do detailed prototyping, and we'll also understand mobile design guidelines between iOS and Android. We'll do a case study. We will take all those screens and we'll put it in a portfolio. We'll make a case study out of it, and we'll do a slide deck pitch simulation wherein I will show you how to take all those screens and put it in a PowerPoint presentation and get ready for showing it to your client or showing it to your manager. So I hope you had a good learning, and now we will start module 7, which is going to be amazing, which we will create all these screens which are pending. So I hope to see you in the next chapter. Thank you.